Welcome, everyone, to another episode of the Adeptus Ridiculous podcast. My name is DK Diamantes, his name is Bricky, and Kirioth is here. Everyone welcome Kirioth, but before you get too loud about it, if you enjoy today's episode and maybe you want to support the podcast, head over to patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous, where you get access to the Discord, bloopers if they happen. $15 tier gets you access to all of our posters in digital form, which we'll talk about that later. But patreon.com/Adeptus Ridiculous if you want to support us. And Bricky has news.
Yes, news, stuff, and things. Roll the clip.
Hello everyone, this video is sponsored by Raycon and their Everyday Earbuds Classic, currently available now with fantastic features. I have listened to so many of the audiobooks on this channel, specifically on these earbuds. They have fantastic battery life, their noise cancellation is incredible, they look very stylish, especially with this gorgeous Galaxy protective carrying case, and these are just an extremely well done version of their original classic earbuds, revitalized for the now and, well, today. These earbuds have 8 hours of playtime. They've got an awareness mode that makes them just perfect for any scenario, and they are a great gift, especially as we are moving into the holidays. So go ahead and go to buyraycon.com/adric to get 20% off the brand new Everyday Earbuds Classic. That's buyraycon.com/adric for 20% off, and thank you Raycon for sponsoring this video.
And we're back. Going through that, doing the usual, you know how it do be. We got to afford more miniatures. That's the way of the world. But before we get too deep into that, this week is the book club as well. Don't forget to finish up Flesh and Steel from the Minecraft movie. And then after that, Simeon's a bit of a shitter. I like him.
Yeah, it's a good book.
He's a sassy man. It's good stuff. But also, I am told we have a poster today.
We do, and brothers, I think you'll like this one.
Brothers.
I never know whether you're being genuine when you say that, based on previous experience. It feels like
I'm completely at a loss every time. I never really know.
Good Lord. That first clip.
Right?
Okay.
Oh,
Gentlemen, please.
Such is the power.
Such is the power of, right? Great poster, right?
Such is the power of that.
So yeah. What is the power of, DK? What is such the power of?
Well, it could be a number of different things in that poster, right? But it's a Nagash themed poster. Such is the power of Nagash, right? Like, wow, what a poster. Bricky,
wow.
Where can people get this just enormously magnificent poster?
They can get it on the link in the description of the video, Wargear.com. It's down there and stuff. And you can see such is the power.
Hell yeah, brother.
You can have the power.
What is that power?
On your
Doesn't
wall.
matter. yeah. You're gonna have the power on your wall. What is the power? I have no idea what the power is, but that's the power.
Oh, Shy, you include
cool.
work in progresses now? That's actually a dope idea to show like the progress of it and the iterations it went through. Hell yeah, brother.
And I can't complain. Anything Nagash related is good. Nagash is quality.
Yep, you know it. Especially this poster. But Kirioth, hi, welcome back. What's the quote that I'm gonna get wrong today? Well, I guess Bricky's here too. He might get it too. So it's fair.
Yeah, I could also be a problem, you know. Hey, don't get all the glory. I can also be an issue.
Bricky's like, I'm stupid too, guys. Come on.
Don't you dare limit me. Okay, this one, I think you could be in for a slight challenge with this, purely because we cover a variety of subjects at this point, don't we? Really, over the course of Adric. So I've got faith. But it's where the faith lies is probably the problem. To the darkness, I bring fire. To the ignorant, I bring faith. Those who welcome these gifts may live, but I will visit naught but death and eternal damnation on those who refuse them.
Well,
oh boy,
I feel like I know this one.
So
the
every
first part, at least.
Every time Kirioth's here, a part of me is like, oh man, you know, that maybe it's something 40K, but I'm like, man, this could be more Trench Crusade shenanigans. Right? Like this could be some like eternal damnation from hell thing. And it's just and I never know what to think when Kirioth's here and which topic we're actually doing, or is it you know, is it a red herring or
I have swerved you in the past, so I totally understand. But to be fair, it is 40K this time.
Is it a sisters thing?
Oh.
It's not a bad guess, but it's not this time.
Okay, because like the fate, you know, ignorant bring blast, that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know, for some reason it sounded Celestine coded, but I guess it's not.
I don't really even have a guess.
It is very specific. To be fair to you, it's quite specific.
Yeah, my brain pigeonholed into being like, oh yeah, this is another Trench Crusade swerve, and when you're like, nope, it's 40K, I was like, oh no, my brain is. I pigeonholed into that so hard. I'm like, I got nothing else. Like, there's no other ideas coming to mind. I kind of boned myself a little bit.
You got locked in, and then that was it. It was over. Once it wasn't the thing you were locked into. It's fair. It happens.
The bottom dropped out of the barrel.
So this time round, it's not Trench Crusade, it's not Sisters, but it is very sort of faith and fire related because we're going to talk about Space Marine chaplains. The best looking lads in every army. Let's be honest.
That's
the classic boys.
Yeah.
Like arguably one of the most iconic and oldest models in the Space Marines from the 90s.
Yeah, and that's Skull Helmet Boy from Space Marine 2, right? That with the big reveal. He's
Skull Helmet Boy.
Well, that's how I remember him because he's got the cool skull helmet.
Yeah, yes, it's Leandros, that bitch.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert. Well, that's probably how long has that game been out?
Almost a year actually. It was in September last year, I think.
Oh no, was it?
Yeah, I think so. Almost a year.
I'm going to crumble into dust. I didn't need to know that. I shouldn't have asked. Yeah, you are correct though, DK.
The least surprising reveal of the game. But it's the man, the boy, the
lad with the skull mask. That's the one.
the lad with the skull mask.
Excuse me, I said Skull Helmet Boy. I said nothing about a mask.
My apologies.
God, put some respect
I didn't
on
want to
my
misrepresent.
As we have the old photo of Grimmy D right there. The man, the boy.
Chaplain's
such a good bit of art.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's a great bit of art. Love that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Well, funnily enough, we have already touched on how visually striking the chaplains are, but they are pretty much the most visually striking when it comes to units of the Space Marines. Absolutely iconic, been around forever. Everyone knows what a chaplain looks like. Covered in holy relics, yelling the holy words of their brothers, all with that amazing skull helm that reminds everyone around them that death is always watching. This is the war prophet of the Trench Pilgrim. No, it's not. It's the chaplain of the Space Marines, and is the wrath of the Emperor, and the faith of the chapter, all wrapped up in one horrible, excellent package. So today we're going to talk about them. We're going to talk about the early history, their implementation, their evolution, the different chapter variants, and we can hardly talk about these guys without just touching on their slightly more evil, and when I say slightly, I mean very more evil counterparts. So, your early chaplain history, essentially, don't want to blame it all on Lorgar, but he definitely didn't help. The history of chaplains is a bit of a domino effect within the confines of the early history of the Space Marine Legions, and it goes right back to the man himself, Lorgar. But before we get to him, one thing that is very clear within the history of the Space Marines is that even though he was the real driving force behind what we now know as chaplains, they kind of just sprung up naturally in some respects before that. So two very early proto-chaplain organizations include the Wardens of the Blood Angels and the voices of fire from the salamanders. So the wardens were essentially early initiation mentors for new recruits to the Blood Angels. Sort of a kind of guidance counselor, but with a degree of authority as well. They'd provide tactical advice and they'd uphold the laws of the Legion. So they had quite a wide role. And one of their more solemn duties was to oversee the ceremonies of remembrance for fallen battle brothers. Coincidentally, these wardens would usually be clothed in dark cloaks, and they'd have darkened armour. They would carry a Crozius Arcanum, which is the iconic mace famously associated with the chaplains of the modern settings. So they have got quite a deep-rooted connection to the chaplains that we know now. The voices of fire in the... Sorry, go on.
Sorry, I was thinking a little bit on the point. So Blood Angels, ironically, were one of the earlier ones.
Yes, they kind of had a proto-chaplain thing going before they were widespread.
That's actually kind of surprising. I guess my first thought... I mean, I guess it would make sense for Blood Angels. I don't know, I kind of assumed Dark Angels, but I guess this is... Would this be pre-heresy, right?
Yeah, this is early Crusade stuff. Right in when the Space Marine Legions were first going out there and making their presence felt on the wider galaxy.
Gotcha. Okay. All right.
I was also very unsurprised when you're like, oh yeah, chaplains, Lorgar, and it's like, yeah, that does kind of fit the bill, doesn't it? Yeah.
Once again, Lorgar stays winning, man.
100%.
Well, unless you're Monarchia, then.
Well, yeah, that's kind of the part of whatever, man.
I'm just saying that was a big L. All right.
It was one L in a career full of W's. All right. Kind of. So not really, but
Yeah.
So there's also the voices of fire of the salamanders. They're a sort of similar thing here where they were in the process of coming up with a specific member of the Legion that was supposed to be a combination of overseer and a faith leader, super deeply shaped by the histories of Nocturne, and they would have served as a kind of proto-chaplain as well. During the time that this was happening, the Legions did have some units that kind of fit the mold when it came to a bit of a disciplinary mediator. So you've got the consul, and I still don't know how to pronounce this, Opusquari? That's not what that is. Take your best guess. All right,
Oh man. So listen, when it comes to trying to pronounce some of these 40k words, I feel like you just do you do your best, and this is one of those that it's Opus Quiari. I'm just as boned on saying that as you are, dude. I got nothing.
Not even gonna attempt it. Just we'll let it roll.
Yeah, you came damn close, Kiriath, and
I think that's the best. I think that's the best we're going to do for today. But those guys that I'm not going to say again, the consul, that word, they were a lot closer to the idea of a commissar as opposed to the chaplains that we have now in 40k. Ultimately, the idea of a chaplain, it's something that would have naturally progressed over time within the various chapters at some point, but things got a bit of a kick in terms of speed of adoption, thanks to a few things that happened before the heresy really took off. So at this point, we can shift back to the pre-Lorgar word bearers. Random question, or sudden question. What number is that legion?
Ooh, word bearers?
I don't think he's gonna get it.
8?
It's one of the legions that don't have a really associated number that they that makes it very striking and obvious.
Yeah, I feel like I know 1 through 5 pretty well, but past that it gets kind of murky for me in the numbers.
17, baby.
Ooh,
Nailed it.
Would not have guessed that.
Yeah, no, it's one of the weird ones. It's one of the once you get to 15 up, they start to kind of blend.
Yeah, I feel like I've got 1 through 5 pretty well, but then like I said, after that it gets a little uh-oh, I don't know which one's which anymore.
I'll be honest, DK, I'm the same with the upper numbers. For some reason, at a certain point, I I just forget which ones are which, and I have to look it up every time. And for some reason, I don't know whether it's, I don't know, like, I love word bearers, so it's not like I'm just throwing shade unnecessarily. 17 feels like a nothing number, and I can't explain why that is. No, it's just not memorable.
You're so right, because like 1 through 10 have like a bit of strength to them. I also think that for some reason the higher level numbers are just like a little less interesting. If I'm not mistaken, 20 is Alpha Legion, which is like, that's fine. 19 I think is Raven Guard, which are not particularly like the most, like, it's a lot of Legion. I feel like it's a lot of Legions that got their ass kicked in Isvan.
Mm-hmm.
Like, isn't 18 Sally's?
You know what? Now you're saying it does sort of feel like the higher the number, the worse, like the worse the hand they were dealt somehow. Which
also, it's just now registering with me. Why did I guess 8th Legion when I know that's the Night Lords?
I mean, that's
a great question, and I'm going to interrogate you about this later.
Like, that just dawned on me. I was like, skulls for the... Why did I...
Skulls for the Night Lord?
They do say skulls for the 8th Legion.
And I'm like, I knew that, and...
Because that's the funny thing, right? Because it goes like Alpha Legion, Raven Guard, Salamanders, Word Bearers, and then Sons of Horus. It's a very nothing world there. I mean, 15 is Thousand Sons, and then like 14 is obvious. And then from there, things get to like... The problem is 1 through 5, and even 5 through 10 rock. Like Dark Angels, expunged. Emperor's Children, Iron Warriors. 5 and 6 people tend to forget because they're White Scars and Space Wolves. And then there's Fists, Night Lords, and Blood Angels. Like, that's pretty good.
They only forget because Games Workshop also forget that White Scars exist.
Yeah, they do. Yep.
Yeah, but they got a new bike dude now, and that's sick as hell.
I love it. It looks like a flying brick. I'm 100% on board. It's great.
No wonder Bricky loves the bike. It's him, but flying.
all Space Marine vehicles that are aircraft are flying bricks. That's the best part.
It's so true. Oh no.
I feel like even by the usual standards, though, there's something particularly brick-like about it. And when I first said that during the reveal stream, I got people going, "How dare you?" And I was like, "No, it's brilliant. Don't misunderstand. It's great because it's a flying brick. Don't think it's an insult. It's not. It's praise, 100%." Anyway,
also what Shai said,
the most aerodynamic vehicle in all of Warhammer is the Daka jet.
Yeah.
Also, what Shai said, when you think of word bearers, you think either Burning Skull Book or Erebus.
Yeah, pretty much.
Not numbers, yeah.
Numbers nothing to do with it. It's all about the intent to be a little shit 100% of the time. Let's go back to the actual word bearers themselves. So, prior to Lorgar showing up, that legion was not known as the word bearers. They were known as the Imperial Heralds, and they were horrifying. I mean, word bearers, horrifying. The Imperial Heralds, also horrifying. They'd get sent out to deliver the Emperor's ultimatum, which was recant or be destroyed. And to give this edict, they would send a lone warrior out as a herald of this message, and the herald, no joke, presence-wise. So, DK, if you could do the honours on this one.
Sure. Wow. Clad in black armor, his face hidden by a skull helm, and hearing the eagle-winged mace, the herald would speak the truth offered by the emperor and the futility of resistance. These bearers of the word and death were chosen from those who had shown supreme devotion to the imperial truth. Such a mantle, once bestowed, was never removed. Some, on seeing such a warrior, would surrender and renounce their false beliefs. Others would refuse, but always after the black-clad herald, the gray warriors would come with fire and the thunder of change. Damn.
It's pretty cool. I love that idea for a legion, where it's just, we're going to send one guy out, he's going to look terrifying, and he's going to say, join us or die, and that's the entire thing. You don't get anything else.
I was gonna say that's a chaplain, all right.
Yeah.
He's a herald. He's a herald. He's a herald of doom.
Yep, he sure is.
So when Lorgar joined his legion, he began his work to readjust it to his liking. Very slow, very meticulous. First by changing their name to the Word Bearers, and then by promoting the idea that the Emperor was a god to his sons. So during this process, he took a look at the heralds that they used and was like, hey, I love the energy. Love that. But instead of being missionaries, have you considered televangelism? And reformed the heralds into chaplains. So give them a distinctly religious slant, as opposed to being simply a glorified messenger, so to speak. The early chaplains worked in a very dedicated spiritual manner within the chapter to improve the morale and the psyche of the Battle Brothers, but it was also to reinforce the word of the Emperor in a very religious manner. They dressed pretty much the same as they did when they were the heralds of the Imperial Heralds, but the armour colour was changed to match that as the other members of their legion. That changed quite a bit, however, after the whole, burning Monarchia due to religious heresy thing. The armour worn... It was a notable moment. The armour worn by those chaplains, it was repainted to a dark black to reflect a state of mourning for Monarchia and to reflect the ashes of the burnt planet. Which, I love that that's persisted. Because chaplains in 40k, 9 times out of 10, you have got black armour. And it's just one more thing from Lorgar / the Word Bearers that is still reflected.
I was going to say, damn, Kirioth, your first heretic, the first heretic written by Aaron Dembski Bowden is showing. But honestly, that book is sick as hell, so I'm okay with it. But it is so true. It's another Lorgar W. Also, they wear black armor with skulls and a giant trench coat. I mean, that you just can't get better than that.
Yeah,
it's the best.
Stylistically, it's really hard to beat him. Yeah.
Yeah. And I stand by the fact that that's the best book in the entire Horus Heresy series. Anyway, we're going to jump.
You're right. So far, it's pretty good. I will say I have become a little bit of a Garviel fan. The Horus Rising is pretty good.
Yeah, Garviel's. I love Garviel. He's so weirdly innocent for a genetically altered killing machine.
Yeah. Oh, Garviel.
He's so weirdly naive for a genetically enhanced killing machine.
I mean, he is. He's all like, hey, my principles. And it's like, my guy, have you seen what you're doing? But he still stands by them. Fully honorable.
Yeah. I stand by my important principles. Also, by the way, Garvey, I need you to go send this one planet into work camps because they didn't give us enough taxes.
Although they do specifically say that's what makes Garviel so special and why it's because wow, you actually question stuff. You don't just mindlessly slaughter the innocent. You're just like, maybe we can save them, and they're like, wow, that makes you a really good advisor actually.
Yeah, but also it's funny because it's that good combo. It's what makes Garviel so interesting.
Mm-hmm.
He's great.
Garviel's actually thinking about this. That's really good and nice to hear from Garviel. And then he's like, damn, I don't know if I should be doing this while he's doing it.
Yeah. At least he's thinking about it.
At least he's thinking about it.
That's the important bit,
Baby steps.
So we're going to jump forward a little bit here. We're going to jump to the Council of Nikaea. So for those who don't recall, the Council of Nikaea was a meeting convened on the planet Nikaea by the Emperor to address the potential threat that Psykers have on the Imperium and the legions of Space Marines. So after a significant amount of debate, the Emperor issued his decree that Psykers were not to be used in battle by any Space Marine legion, and those who had Psykers needed to reassign them back to being standard units who were forbidden to use their powers. Also, the scene of the worst debating technique known to man, where if you want people to be on your side, Magnus, you should not stand up and essentially say, look, I'm really smart and you should trust me on this. That doesn't work, it turns out. Just throwing that out there.
Wait, which book was this that Magnus did this in?
That was Burning of Prospero, right? Or was it A Thousand Suns? It was one of the two. But they had the Council of Nikaea, and Magnus's whole thing was telling a parable about humans living in a cave, and one of them, trying to seek the light outside the cave, finding it, and then going back in and being like, "Look at this wondrous light I found. Come and join me." And then they joined him, and everything was great. And it didn't go down great. It wasn't the best.
And wasn't the Emperor actually trying to be like, oh, I kind of see where you're coming from, Magnus. And then I forget who it is. Aren't one of them Magnus is convening with demons over his lost eye and his sons, and that's the kind of warp shenanigans that I think are bad news. And Magnus is like, and the Emperor's like, you what? And that kind of just causes everything to go in a downward spiral, and no more
It wasn't great. It wasn't great. It was also the thing of having a Space Wolves. I think it was. Oh God, I can't remember the unit name now. I think it was the Wolf Priest. But he had been joining Ahriman, and they'd become quite close. And Ahriman was like, "Look at all this stuff we do, like having weird warp demons as tutelaries, and they follow us around." And the guy was like, "Oh yeah, this is great. Oh, this is awesome. Yeah." And then when they got to the council, the Space Wolf was like, "They're consorting with demons. They're full of shit. They're absolutely a massive threat to the Imperium. I've seen all of it firsthand. What the fuck is this?"
Wait, hold on. That's fucking awesome. Who's this Wolf Priest? This dude sounds great.
I wish I could remember his name. I'll have a quick look once we're done, but it's great because he spends the whole book learning from Ahriman, and then at the Council of Nikaea, he's like, "Yeah, these guys are full of shit, and they're doing full-on demon nonsense," and he just absolutely backstabs him.
That's so sick.
What do you think happened to his eye?
I love that. It's just like this Wolf Priest who clearly knows it's a crock of shit is just going around being like, "Oh, interesting. And Armin's like, "Do you see the power?" And he's like, "I'm kind of seeing it." Goes to the court stand, kill this man.
That's the one, Othir Weirdmake. Yeah, it's so good. There's also a lot of Ahriman going like, "You see what you do is the same as what we do. Look, it's the same thing." And then Othir's like, "Oh, interesting." And then at the end just goes, "No, it's bullshit. What we do is way different." He just accepts none of it. He's having none of it at all.
This has the same vibe to me as that one meme where it's SpongeBob staring at the horrible creature in his house. And it's like me looking at the horrors beyond my comprehension. I don't get them. And he's just kind of I don't know. It has this vibe of this really long diatribe argument. No, it's the one where it's Armin on the left side, and it's the really long paragraph about why we're the same. And then it's the Wolf Priest on the other guy with 3 words that are like, "Fuck this guy." It's got that same vibe. That's great. I love that.
Yeah,
I'm sure we're horribly simplifying it, but it sounds really funny.
Still, yeah.
It's honestly it's been a while since I've read those 2 books, but I don't think we're 100% off the mark. Honestly, it really does have the energy of Othir Weirdmake. It's like, we're going to educate you. We're going to show you what we do and how we do it. And at the end of it, it's just they don't know what they're doing. They need to be stopped. And it's just this whole build-up of this nice friendship and, this kind of exchange of information, followed by, "Nah, fuck these guys." And it's like, nice. Well done, Space Wolf. You were not having any of that. Off you go.
Can you imagine a crazy parallel universe where that friendship thing worked and Othir was like, "Wow, we are the same. We're going to be best friends." And Space Wolves and Thousand Suns become best buddies and are forever linked in unity and friendship.
Space Wolves are all Wolfen and nothing else. There's not a single...
Mm-hmm.
But you know what would have stopped that from happening?
This is not off the rails, Shy. This in a sense has an important thing because it's all about why you need God, and the Space Marine chaplains are there to teach you how to find God.
Thank you for reeling it back in, Bricky.
So we know the Emperor went, "No psychers, not having that. Go back to your normal duties. Don't use your powers ever again." Daddy says no. The Emperor was confident that this would be self-regulatory because he's an idiot. But Malcador was like, "No, I don't think this is going to work." as the legions are pretty much autonomous, there's no real way to guarantee that they would uphold the edict of the Emperor, especially since plenty of the legions had become really reliant on the librarians. So Malcador saw how successful the chaplains of the Wordbearers were at keeping things together morale-wise, and this resulted in the issuance of the Order of Observance at his behest, but with the Emperor's seal. Now, that order required that the other Primarchs appoint chaplains to their legions. Another massive Lorgar W. These chaplains would have a dual function: ensure the personal and spiritual well-being of the Battle Brothers, and ensure that the Psyker ban was enforced to the fullest extent. So the hope was that these chaplains would be there to calm the minds of the now removed librarians as they shifted back to a more like military role. And Lorgar, funnily enough, big fan of this. He was all in on this idea.
I don't know why, but I was expecting him to not be in on it and just be kind of like, oh, I guess I'll begrudgingly do it because God told me to.
Well, you got to remember that something that Lorgar did off the back of this order was somewhat to send his own chaplains out to subvert other legions. So he offered the usage of his own chaplains to help with the creation of chaplains in other legions. And a lot of the Primarchs were fine with that, and they were like, okay, fine. They either established the role themselves, or they took Lorgar up on his offer of his own chaplains for their legions. Sanguinius, not particularly interested, fine with just retweaking the established role they already had. But the grand irony is that in the process of all of this, like before this even went down, Lorgar had already fallen to the ruinous powers. And he was actively working against the Emperor, and yet he was still able to spread his ideas into the other legions through these chaplains. This thing that like he had kind of created and come up with was now being implemented amongst a big group of loyalists who otherwise had no idea that, you know, there were effectively traitors in their midst for quite a while before things really kicked off.
I guess for some reason I didn't realize that he had fallen already, but that actually makes sense in the timeline. And this probably is like, he's just like, oh, this is a huge opportunity. That's fair.
Now, fallen is a bit of a strong word.
sorry. I didn't. Hey, Dark Angels fans, I didn't mean it. I'm stepping away from the mic.
Fallen assumes that he was like corrupted by chaos and didn't like run into their arms willingly.
Arms outstretched. Dad. Yeah, that's fair.
Argel Tall, what happened when I sent you out there entirely knowing what was going to happen?
There's a lot of energy of like, oh man, that's awful. How long did it take, did you say? When was it? Okay, let me just
Yeah, he was enlightened. He found the gods that were worthy of worship, as said.
Yeah, I mean he did nothing wrong because he just went to seek out the truth and he found it. What more could you ask? Perfect character arc. 10 out of 10, no notes.
Reaching for my bedroom revolver, Kirioth is starting to say some interesting words.
So over time, like over the next like 10,000 years, the role of the chaplain, it becomes deeply ingrained within the legions, and it's become an inseparable and essential part of every legion. The responsibility of the chaplain in the modern setting is morphed quite a bit, but the core remains the same. So you've got the well-being and betterment of the Battle Brothers under his wing, but additionally, the chaplain is very ingrained and versed within the mythos and knowledge of each chapter's like cult, if you will. So for those who aren't aware, each chapter of Space Marines has their own unique lore and belief system. Deeply ingrained within them, makes them very unique, and that is the basis of the chapter's cult. So sometimes this cult can be very similar to the Imperial Cult, and their deification of Big E, but with the added pillar of their Primarch having a similar deity role. Others are more kind of history-based, and they view heritage as something as its own form of divine right. Regardless, it varies from chapter to chapter, and this belief system is something that helps drive any and all Space Marines to stick to their guns and gives them something to fight for. We'll get more into the functions in a bit, but we should cover the ranks first. Shy.
You gotta show that in the video.
Jesus Christ.
Shy said all Space Marines have unique histories and cultures, Space Marines, and then just a picture of all the Buzz Lightyears lined up on the shelf, all looking the exact damn same.
It's harsh. Is it untrue? You be the judge. So
Yeah.
This is why we like chaos in this podcast, baby.
Yes!
Oh, so before you become a chaplain, you got to be trained. Those trainees become a judicaire, I'm going to say.
Judicar?
Judiciar? That makes sense.
Judiciary,
Oh,
yeah.
Okay, I've never thought to read it like that, but I think you're right. A judiciar. I'm not going to lie. I'm really like, after I don't know how many years of playing 40k and reading 40k stuff, the words are starting to get away from me. The other day, they showed off the new kill teams, and there was an actual word in there, and I didn't know it was an actual word, and people in the comments were like, that's a real word. And I thought, can you blame me with some of the stuff Games Workshop comes out with that I didn't know that was real? This is one of those ones where it's never clicked. Say it again, Bricky. It's gone again.
Judiciar.
Judiciar. Okay, right. Going to try and commit that one so I never mispronounce it again. They become those. Those brothers, they take a vow of silence as their training stresses that their actions are to showcase what they preach more than their words. So they're responsible for carrying out the will of the chapter master, and they do so with a slightly menacing executioner blade that they carry in a sort of guts-like way. The Primaris version of... It's gone again! I'm going to leave.
Come on, I believe you.
Judiciar.
Judiciar, there we go.
I also love you're like, oh no, I'm going to commit this to memory. Like it's a word you use every day, right? How often does the word judiciar come up, right?
Yeah, but it went immediately, and that's bad. That's worrying.
I love the fact that I type in judiciar in like judiciar, whatever, into Google, and the only thing I get is Warhammer. So I think it's a fake word.
It might actually be. It might be like a 40k take on like
God, the pin of shame. Shy's pin the pronunciation. I've disgraced myself.
Nah, don't worry. You haven't truly made it on this podcast until Shy has taken the time to humiliate you like that. You're one of us for sure now, dude.
So, the Primaris version of the Judiciar also carry with them a Temper Mortis device, which is a time-manipulating device on a chain that looks like a blinged-out hourglass. The extent of which you can manipulate time isn't clear, but it can essentially offset its flow in a small area around them and their adversary to give them the upper hand in battle. Otherwise, it seems more like a representation of the Judiciar's need for patience than anything else. It's such a good model, except for the helmet.
I am in so much agreement with you. I think everything is great except for the fucking Judge Holden Blood Meridian looking ass head. I hate that head so much.
It just doesn't work. It just does not work.
I thought that was just one of the options. I thought they had like a special skull helmet or something, and this is just like, oh yeah, this is just one of the head options. Is that the only one that's available for this guy? I'm
pretty sure it's the only one in the kit. That's the one you get.
I mean, it's the only one in the kit, but you will have 45 leftover helmets from your other Space Marines.
Yeah, just put
literally anything is better.
Also,
just don't use that one. That's fucking red skull ass.
Yeah, I love those swords. I think it's specifically an executioner sword, right? Because it's got no pointed end, because that's not what it's for. It's an executioner's blade. It's got
big old
one
butter
goal.
knife looking.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about those swords that have sort of the squared off end, or like even like a broken sword. I just love that aesthetic so much.
I really like those as well. It's not just the fact that it is like an executioner's blade. There's also like a weird element of, I don't know. I might not be able to stab you, but I can still beat you to death. I don't know. There's just something about that to it where it's like, it feels like it's equally dangerous no matter which part is hitting you, even though it's missing the tip. So, yeah.
It's very, very soul bad guy, if, you know.
Yeah.
Evo just happened recently, and, yeah.
Also, the old like hourglass that he holds it's so extra. It's really, it's so big. It's ridiculous.
Things I haven't heard in too long for 1,000, Alex.
Shut up.
Okay, the next.
But yeah, the Judiciary is sick. He gives fights first in the tabletop, which makes him very good.
I mean, of course he does. Have you seen his hourglass? Like,
I was gonna say,
Ooh, you're gonna be slow in combat.
To be fair, that's like I love hearing things in like the tabletop that are just like, oh yeah, it makes sense. He has an hourglass. Of course he's going first. He manipulates time.
Yeah.
yeah. What are you, an idiot? Don't you realize he has the hourglass?
Yeah, he has the hourglass. I just think it's cool when like it lore makes sense that they do stuff in the tabletop like that. Yeah.
I know what you mean.
Cool.
Yep. So the next step up above the Judiciary is the Chaplain, but a step above that is the Reclusiarch. So the Reclusiarch is charged with the oversight and care of the Reclusium in the fortress monastery of whatever chapter it is. So that involves training new chaplains, but also includes the maintenance and care, and sometimes activation, of all holy relics within the Reclusiarch, which we'll get into in a little bit. The top role within the chaplaincy, though, is the Master of Sanctity. Solid title. As the title suggests, they are one of the masters of the chapter, and they are responsible for the effectiveness of all of the rungs below them. Some of the Masters of Sanctity also have access to quite a strange and powerful artifact known as the Emperor's Judgment. And I'm going to put this in for Ricky to read.
Ooh. Legend has it that the golden skull face mask, known as the Emperor's Judgment, was crafted in the years following the... wait, I lost it. Sorry, my Discord scrolled up. Let me try that again. Legend has it that the golden skull face mask, known as the Emperor's Judgment, was crafted in the years following the Horus Heresy, and its crimson crystal islands are imbued with droplets of his own lifeblood. Regardless of the truth of its origins, several influential Masters of Sanctity have been granted the honor of wearing the Emperor's Judgment in battle. Both heretics and Xenos cower in the face of its grim majesty.
That's so cool.
The Emperor's blood, huh?
It's pretty good. It's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool. Is that the one that must have been the Emperor's? That was the picture Shy showed earlier, right? Or no, never mind. It doesn't have red eyes at all. Okay, sorry, I'm dumb.
I mean, to be fair, a lot of the chaplain stuff, like you will see a red-eyed skull helm. So it could be that, or it could not be. Look at this holy Master of Sanctity. Nice, nice.
That's
Asterath.
our boy Asterath. Yeah, Asterath the Grim.
Yeah, what a name.
I see. How do you get that name?
There's a couple methods. He had this really mediocre old miniature, but I must say, okay, well, I don't know. Okay, he's kind of sick. But he is a little stubby, and then they updated him, and they basically just did the thing where they make him the exact same but updated, and I think that was the right call. He looks kind of sick.
What you mean? Did the best update you can do? Make it the same but newer.
Nah. Listen, Blood Angels are a weird one, man. I feel like whatever they do for photography is doing them disjustice. Like the Sanguinary Guard update, bad, not good.
should
100%. Where are the wings?
But then, especially, yeah, where are the wings? But I specifically saw the Sanguinor in person recently, and it's kind of good.
Okay.
I don't know.
Honestly,
I thought it would be crap. But
it's like their characters all have the same issue that Sanguinius had from the Horus Heresy range, where the pose of the model means that if you see it from a static angle, it looks goofy. As soon as you can turn it round, it's like, oh, that's actually sick. What the hell is this? This is great. But it needs to be seen from more than one angle, and it feels like a lot of the Blood Angel stuff is like that for some reason.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I actually liked it in person. I also like Lamarty's funny little ball gag. I think it's sick.
I'm still not convinced on that one. I don't know why they did it.
The what?
I mean, listen, I don't know. I think the mask is cool, but like, yeah, it is a little bizarre. But I don't know. I don't mind it.
Okay. Also, I'm not the what's his name? The Grim boy. I don't know what it is. There's something I find more charming about the old one. And I like the new one is fine, but like the old one has like that just like, oh yeah, that's 40K, baby.
For me, it's the very, very long purity seals and parchments, and those are what are keeping him aloft. He's hovering because of those, and those are missing on the new one. That's the only thing I don't like about the new one.
I agree with you on that one, and I agree with you specifically because the exact same thing is happening with the Sanguinor, except it works out excellently. I think Celestine is also held aloft by purity seals, which is very sick.
But that's Lamarty's, and that's his ball gag. So you can decide for yourself, DK, whether you think that works or not. I'm not convinced, but...
DK, before you make a choice here, look at the old Lamarty's.
Oh, boy. The old Lamarty's is very busy.
But he still looks badass.
He
still looks fucking great. Look at him.
I mean, I'm not sure how I feel about the golden toes, man. I don't know.
Yeah, that's just a painting choice. It's fine. Yeah, the rest of it, solid.
I gotta be honest, I kind of like the old one more. It is very busy, and it does feel a little cluttered, but...
all right,
sorry.
It's fine. I can be in the minority here. That's fine. It's fine.
It's just a mini. You can pick whichever one you want. Roll the one you like. Paint the one you like. I don't mind
the funny ball gag. I don't know, man.
Looks like golden toes are on the other foot now, Bricky. Says Shy.
Okay, well, can we at least all agree that the new Dante looks fucking sick?
Oh, yeah, it's insane.
Yes,
it's so
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Now, those are golden toes. I'd suck.
All right, boy, howdy. So how about those chaplains, Kyrios?
What does a chaplain do? As we've mentioned before.
I had to mention Dante because even though we're only going to talk about Dante for 10 seconds, I need Possum to have us add the featuring, or Ted, to have us add the featuring Dante from the Warhammer 40K series symbol on the thumbnail. So that's the only reason. That's the only reason I brought it up. All right, continue.
What do chaplains do? I hear you ask. After that, like 10-minute derailment. So,
what a transition!
Oh dear! Look. Sometimes you just got to brute force it, right? As we mentioned before, the chaplain is responsible for the morale, which is lacking currently, well-being, and spiritual health of the members of the chapter. So chaplains are present at virtually every stage of a Space Marine's life, from being a neophyte onwards. They're present for the indoctrination, their progression, and eventual transformation into a Space Marine. In fact, indoctrination-wise, they are fully responsible for really beating neophytes over the head with all the histories and rites of the chapter, and it's this indoctrination that helps when it comes to battle-hardedness. Because of this direct link, the chaplains are able to casually observe and monitor the actions of a neophyte, and they can determine who may or may not be a good fit for the chapter as a whole by sifting through and weeding out those who seem to be spiritually unfit. Shy says, if you play Space Marine 2, you know chaplains do that by calling you a chaos-corrupted cock every 5 minutes.
That is very true.
Yeah. Yeah.
I loved the influx of memes of, so Titus, you have successfully stopped a full, 15th Black Crusade single-handedly, but the stench of chaos can never truly be removed.
In order for you to have stopped the Black Crusade single-handedly, you just spent a lot of time near people who worship chaos. I'll be watching you, Titus.
I got my eyes on you.
Oh, Leandros, you lovable scamp. So, because of their full-on dedication to the cult of a chapter, the chaplain can be seen as fairly intimidating and eccentric. But another side effect of their deep knowledge of the lore is that they have they are some of the fiercest combatants any chapter has. They are deeply passionate about their chapter, and they will fight for them in an unrelenting manner. They make sure that everyone around them does exactly the same. So while they're fighting, you'll hear them shouting battle creeds, hymns, words of motivation, praise to the brothers around them for doing well in the eyes of the Emperor and their Primarch. They are effectively not just incredibly skilled in combat themselves, but they're also power-armoured cheerleaders at the same time. That is some sick art as well.
I have to assume that on the tabletop, if you have a chaplain, that being in his vicinity will give you X amount of buffs, speed buffs, power buffs, especially if you I don't know, kill X amount of enemy combatants or something. You get a bonus because chaplain is very proud of you and says lovely words to you and praises you.
You know what?
I'll never be proud of you.
Yeah, there's no
fair. Okay, yeah, sure. But I'm assuming there's a tabletop thing that goes along with that, where chaplains are really great because they can, do that to your whole squad.
I'm afraid this is over to you, Bricky. I've only been playing tanks for the last year.
No, chaplains are a little bit personally a tiny bit mediocre. Their main thing is that they roll up and they give you X+1 to wound in melee, which is just basically he's reciting the recitations of hatred, and therefore you beat the shit out of people in melee. And then I think normally you have something that's you get to reroll a battle shock test because of your litanies of faith. They're pretty mid.
Oh, that's disappointing.
Yeah, named chaplains are a little better. Astorath hits kind of hard, but besides that, they're normally pretty mid. It's a little unfortunate. Back in the day, in 9th edition, they used to be able to chant specific litanies that gave you special buffs, and that was a lot more fun and a lot more flavorful. They took it away from us, those bastards.
That's what I was kind of thinking they should have, because that sounds like a chaplain thing to do. It's a lore accurate chaplain.
Yeah, they 100% should. I think when it comes to the streamlining of data sheets and stuff, there's a few things where they were we're just going to make this nice and easy, and in the process removed some of the things that make it fun. I'm still annoyed about the fact that sponsons stopped costing things on Neiman Russes. I still don't like the fact they did that in the first place, and it gets on my nerves as someone who, I think at the moment I'm running 7 of them. So it's any chance, lads? What are you doing?
No, the Wargear thing I don't mind as much. I mind the lack of the fun abilities. I will forever hate the fact that the Custodian's army rule is choose lethal or sustained hits in the beginning of combat. What an absolute dog water ability for such an interesting faction. We need. I'm pretty sure everyone agrees with that. We need to bring back some of that flavor. It just needs to not be insanely overpowered like it was in 9th.
I mean, you can do fun without it being overpowered. I want things that are related to orcs to have a chance to explode. That's just more fun. But also, that's not great if you're in a tournament. But at the same time, I'm but I remember when things did explode all over the shop, and it was great.
But who cares about that? No one is going to be oh god, this is so terrible for my tournament if they just add +1 to deadly demise rolls for orcs. That's fine, man. I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Anywho.
we're going to talk about weapons and armor. So, as we touched on earlier, the primary weapon that's part of the formal, regalia of a chaplain is known as the Crozius Arcanum, which is, by the way, an amazing item name, which translates to Arcane Cross. It's viewed as a sacred staff of the chaplains, but it's also an exceptionally violent and vicious close combat weapon. The duality is intentional. It's meant to showcase the beauty of the will of the Emperor, and also the brutal way in which it's dispensed. So it's covered in your go-to Imperial iconography, and it tends to have some form of Aquila on it, but the Crozius Arcanum tends to also be a relic weapon within the Legion, and it tends to reflect something more personal within that Legion. So, for example, the Salamanders have Crozius Arcanum that look like forge hammers, or they'll have a dragon head at the top. The Blood Angels will quite often have something a bit more thematic to their chapter as well. But it's not just a big stick that you whack something with. Embedded inside most of them is an energy field that can cause extreme knockback once a hit is landed on a foe. And some legions have also modified it so it can be used in a range sense. So the best example of this is the Storm Rod used by Karnak of the Imperial Fists. The power field embedded in this Crozius can strike down a foe at a distance as if it's some form of divine smite, which is badass.
Oh, that's so cool.
I've always I love the Crozius. They're absolutely awesome. I've always been weirdly annoyed with how stubby they are.
Feels like they should be like a good foot longer, but a
little bit.
You almost think it should be a staff, right?
Yeah. I kind of feel like it should be like two-handed instead of one. Like it's fine. Like it feels like a shock maul. It's kind of just like it's like the bonk stick. You know, it feels like a bonk stick.
Also, I don't know if I just haven't seen a lot of chaplains, but whenever I think of their God, I was almost gonna say their bonk stick, their Crozius, I always think of like that one that Shy posted, the one on the right that's like a skull in the middle and just wings. I haven't seen too many like unique ones, and that's why I really like the one that has like the skeleton on it with the sort of circular thing, and he's like holding the dagger. That looks really dope. But yeah, I've always just seen like that one. It's just like, oh yeah, it's the winged eagle deal, and it's like, oh well, yeah, it's cool, but like I didn't realize there were so many like specialized, different looking ones of them.
That's the thing. I think when it comes to like model ranges, Games Workshop are like, here's the chaplain. And then if you've got a specific version for whatever chapter it is, then if it's established or popular enough, then it will get its own version. But for the rest of them, it's like you use the generic one. Whereas in practice, like actually in universe, they're a lot more tailored to what each chapter kind of like what each chapter identifies around. And then the one.
No.
I
simultaneously
like that one.
Yeah, I love it, and I don't like it at the same time. On the one hand, it doesn't have any wings, so it just looks like a goth's pimp cane. But to be fair, being smacked with the goth pimp cane is fucking incredible, so I quite like it. So
yeah, the visual for me is him walking, holding the skull like a walking cane, just like flinging it up in the air slightly, grabbing it by the handle, and then just whacking you with it. And that to me, that just has this feeling of like he's firing you with the other pistol, and he just like wallops you on the side with a skull stick. And for me, I like that one because even though it's shorter, it's just kind of, I don't know. I think I don't like the wings, and that
it sounds that way. It sounds like you're just not a big fan of the big bulky gold. Like, oh yeah, we see this iconography everywhere. We don't need a giant shining version of it on the Crozius too. The rest of the mod looks great though. Like that
ain't true. That ain't
so basically,
true, though.
You like that chaplain because it reminds you of the Witchburner General from Trench Crusade.
Yes, the Trench Crusade dude. That's the first thing. Oh yes, that is exactly what I like about him. I love funny Imperial wings everywhere. The wings are sick. I just
Okay.
think the wing on the stick is weird.
Okay.
See, for some, like for rune priests, like when you've got like there's different Crozius Arcanums. When the wings are more in a traditional like battle axe formation, where they're not curved, it's just straight across the top, and then they're even and they are flat. Then it just looks like a fancy stick to hit people with. It looks more like a maul or a warhammer, but fancy. When they're curved, I always think to myself, that looks like a pain to actually hit someone with. So like the Blood Angels, is it what are they called? Their chaplain equivalent. The guy with the goblet full of blood and the Crozius Arcanum, where it's very, very curved at the front, and a jump pack. It looks so hard to hit people with because it feels like the shape of it is really off. Like, I don't like that type of Crozius where it's all curved at the top with the wings. They need to be flat, and then it seems like a viable weapon. But at the same time, it's like, why get hung up on that? They are, biologically engineered living weapons who have been brainwashed into murdering people. So why do you care what the weapon looks like? But there's still that little bit where it's like, it just doesn't look convenient to use, if that makes sense.
Feels like it's a holy symbol, And so I feel like more than anything, it's kind of, you use it almost simultaneously to like knight someone or like bless them in a way.
Yes. Yep. Yeah.
Ooh, that Crozius is really dope, actually, Shy. I kind of dig that. The super big one is actually kind of rock star.
Is the Rune Priest just the best version of the... We'll get onto that in a minute. Okay, look. The other secret item that the Chaplains have is a surprising amount of power within their Rosarius. So the Rosarius as a Chaplain, which is also known as the Soul's Armour, is a powered amulet that serves as a defensive conversion field for that Chaplain. It's provided to them by the Ecclesiarchy as a sign of good faith. The shape can vary, but more often than not, they tend to be Aquila-shaped or a cross that's fairly stylized and either worn on the sash or around the neck on a string of prayer beads. The conversion generator within the Rosarius channels the energy of an impact into light in the direction the hit came from, making it seem like the light of the Emperor shot down the attack. And it is strong enough to basically make a plasma gun shot completely harmless, which is mad.
Wow.
Represented in in tabletop as a 4-up invulnerable save.
Oh,
that everyone has.
Yeah. Cool. That's good, right? Four up is pretty good.
Yeah, it's quite common nowadays, but it's like Harlequins have a 4-up invul save because they just like dance fast,
dance around.
Like it's whatever. It's fine. It's cool.
That art is crazy.
Yeah, that is great. Oh,
you get some
love it.
Really good old school art with the old chaplains and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They're a very iconic, like John Blanche look.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the most striking feature of the Chaplain is the look. So the armor is ancient. It's a living relic of the history of the chapter. It's covered in symbols and iconography related to that chaplain, as well as the Imperium. But like the immediate visual that you see is the skull helm and the armor that quite often looks like a full-blown skeleton. And as we talked about earlier, that's just 100% taken from the heralds of the proto-word-bearers. The skeletal features are meant to evoke a few very specific things to their brothers. For starters, the helm has been repurposed to represent the sacrifice the Emperor made during the heresy, so it being on the battlefield is a representation of the Emperor's wrath and what he gave up, and it's a permanent reminder of mortality to everyone around him. The skull helm, as well as the other skeletal features on the armor, is also a threatening and imposing feature. Makes them stand out, and the normally fully black armor that accompanies these features, it makes them stand out even more. Prior to becoming a full-on chaplain, the trainees tend to keep their standard armor, but with a few exceptions. Their helmets, right shoulder plates, and right arms tend to be painted black to represent their separation from the chapter and their path to the chaplaincy. But then once they don the skull mask, their training is complete and they become a bit more mysterious to the rest of the chapter. I love the... There we go. Yeah, the wolf priest. It's... Look, you take what should be a human skull, make it an animal skull, and it immediately becomes more scary. I don't know why, but it just does.
Is it just like because the art is maybe a little weird, but like to me the ultramarine one almost looks
derpy as hell.
Almost like not derpy, but it almost looks like a gorilla skull or something. It looks sort of like a feral primate. Yeah,
that is old art. To be fair, that's getting on a bit. I'm not sure. That to me, my guess is that is like 2nd to 3rd edition art that's shown up somewhere.
Okay,
I
just
could be
the
totally
wolf
off on
priest
that.
one looks like a wolf. The Blood Angels one is like, oh yeah, that's sort of like your normal human skull. That's like maybe a little dated art. That's fine. But then like the Ultramarine one looks almost like, yeah, like what I would assume a gorilla skull would look like.
I mean, I will say, what's not a Space Marine, not a shaved gorilla with a shotgun?
I just recovered from reading that. I took a drink right as I read it, and I nearly died.
I mean, you know that one metaphor that I mentioned about Eldar and Space Marines, right? I've said it a few times now.
I don't, but go ahead and say it.
Oh, it's like Eldar look down on humanity as like savage primates, right? And it's like, but Eldar is still scared of Space Marines the same way you would be terrified if a silverback gorilla wearing full plate blew through your walls waving a shotgun around.
True.
Yeah,
true.
No, that's totally...
You'd be like, you'd still be like, holy shit,
I'm in danger.
By the craft world, run.
Go, yeah. Fair. Also, you're right, Chad. That is the worst version of the skull mask. There is no question about it.
for Space Marines together, strong.
Oh God!
Looks like the skull is eating him.
Yeah, it's like the face mask grabbers from Catachin.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't see any screenshot from any of those films without remembering the first time I tried to watch a rebooted Planet of the Apes film and didn't know that there were subtitles, except subtitles weren't appearing. And I got like half an hour in and I was like, wow, what am I supposed to do with all this grunting? I'm getting nothing from this. Where's the emotional connection? Then I was like, oh, hang on. Something's gone wrong here.
Me during pornography. I'm only hearing grunting. Where's my no emotional connection?
It got a lot better when I refreshed the page and actually got subtitles. It became a lot more interesting.
Jesus.
Anyway. Something that needs to be covered right about now is the identity of a chaplain and how it's changed and how it varies from chapter to chapter, as there is no one-size-fits-all standard for it. Traditionally, in the older lore, a chaplain would wear their skull helmet at all times. They wouldn't remove it unless they were in the Reclusium or in the presence of higher-ranking members of the chapter. Upon taking the helm, most chaplains would take the name associated with the helm and its armour, which we see in Space Marine 2, where, I've already made this joke, but spoiler alert, we find that Leandros has taken the name Quintus, Quintus being a known chaplain named to folks including Titus. The reasoning behind all of this is to affiliate the concept of the chaplain with the immortal belief behind the chaplain, so that when a brother sees them, they see the ideology and presence and not the individual. And on the other side of the coin, this helps when it comes to their work and their disciplinary actions. It's like how churches have private confessionals. There's no direct known individual connection, making it much more transactional. And for dispensing something more organizational and disciplinary, it's as if the actions coming from the chaplain are just coming from the embodiment of moral authority, as opposed to just some guy you know or someone you can relate to. We also need to talk about Reclusiums. So, all things considered, virtually all the ships and bases in a Space Marines retinue can be described as some form of space cathedral. But the real space cathedral within these space cathedrals is the Reclusium, which also has, in Possum's opinion, one of the funnier, unexpected symbols representing it. Most of the time, these Reclusiums are found within the Fortress Monastery of a chapter, but for the more fleet-based chapters, you'll find it in the flagship. And this is where all the holy relics of any given chapter are displayed proudly, and all the sanctimonious rituals of a chapter are held here under the eye of the Reclusiarch. For those with really fond memories of early Warhammer, this is where the poop vault and the pea chalice of Rokal Dawn would be located if it was still canon.
So
I forgot all about that.
Okay, so a side note, that image of the Black Templar chaplain that Shai just posted was my phone wallpaper on like a shitty flip phone in like when I was like 14 or something along those lines.
Honestly, it goes hard. Like, I don't blame you.
There's a couple artists that make stuff that look kind of like this. And yeah, like it's good stuff. I don't know. I used to have a ton of this as like phone wallpapers and stuff. It was great.
I'll be a hundo. I thought you were gonna say it is your current phone wallpaper, and I was like, yeah, sure, it's dope. I don't blame you. That's a cool wallpaper.
As if the current one would be anything other than something Balatro related. Come on.
Okay,
that's fair.
Okay, all right.
Is he wrong?
All right. He is wrong. You want to know my actual? I'm gonna send you. I'm gonna send you a fucking. I'm gonna send you a fucking screenshot of what my goddamn. We've got him.
He's getting flustered.
Okay.
He's changing it. He's like, God, gotta find another picture besides the clown picture.
You're gonna think I'm a goddamn insane person. Okay. All right, hold on.
What did I think before?
There you go. There's my phone wallpaper. I get distracted when I keep changing my wallpaper, so I just made it black.
No, that is.
That's, you know what? That's fair, because I remember you saying you were trying to make it so your phone wasn't as distracting and you didn't get caught up looking at your phone all the time. That makes sense.
That, I don't know why, but that feels kind of like I don't know how to phrase this without sounding awful. That's like some psychopath shit. What?
No, this is so Patrick Bateman coded. It's so Patrick Bateman coded. You're so right. I know.
I love how Kirioth sees your phone wallpaper and he's like, God, what a sociopath.
It's just so so blank. It's so blank and plain.
Would you like to hear something worse?
Yes.
Well, I don't know if this is worse. We have to find out if the viewers will think this is worse. I don't use Spotify or Apple Music. Whenever I listen to music, I just look up YouTube. I just look up the YouTube video randomly and try to find it on YouTube and then play it in the car.
That's fine. That is kind of weird that you wouldn't use Spotify, but I get it.
Are you paying for Spotify?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, that's yeah. I mean, if you were paying for it, that would be mad. But like, yeah, no, that I can see that.
All right. Shai, your wallpaper is not more well adjusted.
It's fancy art.
It does look good.
My phone wallpaper is just my cat that passed away earlier this year. Not to bring it down, but you know, it's just.
I'm going to make things slightly worse because I put my phone wallpaper up earlier. Like a couple of seconds ago, and my desktop is the same, but across 3 monitors because.
Okay.
I'm guessing you're kind of a fan of.
I'm sorry. I have to discuss this because this is. I'm sorry, episode. This is a tangent that's very important. I think this sets a very interesting precedent for the kind of people we are. So you've got me, Patrick Bateman, with my blank phone wallpaper so I don't get distracted. We have Kirioth with a much more classic gamer wallpaper of Transistor by Supergiant Games, an incredible game.
Great game.
Great game. You have Shy's maliciously horny, granted, very, very good looking artwork, but
it looks great. I love the phrase maliciously horny, and I will be stealing that for future use.
It's very maliciously horny, despite it looking also simultaneously tasteful and somewhat decent. And then DK has the emotional one with the cat.
Yeah.
I would like us all to meet a psychiatrist, Always Sunny in Philadelphia style, and see what we can glean from this information.
That feels like an excellent bonus episode.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, there's no to be fair for this. My wife did ask me. I've got she has pictures of our children as her phone wallpaper. And she was like, "You've had the same wallpaper on your phone for your last 4 phones, and it's red from Transistor. What's the deal?" And I'm like, "I just like it." And that's the best I could come up with. So I don't know. I don't know what that says. Resistant to change? I don't know.
This is the most male-coded thing of all time. Dudes will have an Instagram profile and post nothing. And then randomly there'll be a picture of a sunset that just says, "Looking kind of neat." And then that's the only story they'll have for 4 months. All right, excellent. This was extremely enlightening for everybody.
Oh, God. Okay, so what happens when a chaplain dies? Or alternative title, promotion to walking confessional booth. We're going to get more into the chapter unique stuff in a second, but right about now, you might be thinking, Kirioth, you... Christ, a possum, for God's sake. Kirioth, you awe-inspiring dignitary. What happens if a chaplain dies in battle? Generally
I actually kind of was curious, yeah, because I'm assuming...
Well, Kirioth, you awe-inspiring dignitary. What does happen to a chaplain when they die in battle?
Generally speaking, this results in one who is in training to assume the role of the fallen chaplain, and they put on the helm, a la Cubone from Pokemon, which gives the trainee full authority as the spiritual leader for the duration of the battle. After the battle is won, we assume, he is then given full rights to become the official chaplain. But sometimes a spiritual leader is so good that you just can't say goodbye to them fully, especially if they're only quote-unquote gravely injured. These chaplains are then given the dreadnought treatment and become a walking shrine for the chapter. Like most dreadnoughts, the chaplain dreadnoughts are devastating in battle, they have immense strength, but they also provide all the benefits of your regular old chaplain, and they're a walking beacon of devotion and faith to the lore of the chapter. They go to hell. That's the other option, Shy.
That Cubone reference is brutal for the weebs out there. That's awful.
Isn't it the skull of their mum or something?
Yes, the
horrible?
skull of their dead mother that they put on.
What the hell?
The skull of their mother Marowak, and it's oh no,
grim.
God, don't do
Why?
That.
Oh God, I wish they still sold the chaplain dreadnought.
Aster at the grim. True.
I mean, the chaplain dreadnought was sick.
It was insane, and they stopped making it, and it's just more proof that Games Workshop doesn't care about their customers, because they should still sell it today.
I need more like they don't need to sell the damn chaplain dreadnought. I need them to have dreadnought upgrades for points. And so you can take a Redemptor and be like, here's your librarian dreadnought, Blood Angel fans.
Yes.
It gains Psyker, it does this, it does this, and does this. It's 20 points more. Model it how you want to make it cool as fuck, you know?
Is there a specific reason they stopped doing chaplain dreadnoughts? Did they just think it didn't make any sense, or they figured it didn't make money?
It's part of the whole model. It's like it's a kind of the whole thing of Forge World being a separate company, but not really because they're both Games Workshop, but they had separate branding, and then they started to kill off the Boxnauts and Boxnaut derivatives. So you ended up with what do you mean? What you know what I mean?
I sell box knots and box knots derivatives. Well, also, it gave me a bit of a director Krennic and Andor thing where you're like box knots alternatives, box knot substitutes. All right.
Yeah, they look really cool.
They cut down a load of like sort of special units, and unfortunately the Chaplain Dreadnought was one of them, which makes me sad because it was a great model and I loved it.
I'm actually quite surprised they haven't updated, like, because they could, the box knot is still iconic. Like, you could still make a good looking box knot in the modern day. I'm surprised they never updated Bjorn.
Yeah, where is Redemptor Bjorn at least? Like, come on, you've got the surely someone at Games Workshop has been like, we could make Bjorn a massive chunky boy. We could do that. That would work. I mean, they've updated the goddamn Dread Knight, and that's an absolute crock of shit. So you'd think they'd do it with something that actually, people care about. I'm sorry, Grey Knights fans. I'm so sorry. I'll shut up. I apologize.
No, it's fine. We're treating Grey Knight fans about as well as Games Workshop does.
It's been 10 years. You can have one character and an upgrade to your worst unit visually. Enjoy.
Ouch. But also, by the way, just so you know that we can do it right, here's Castle and Crow.
He looks so good, and the rest of them look old as fuck. It's not fair. It's so fair. Bad.
Anyway,
shy and shit lore. Wow.
I like some of the Grey Knight lore. It's stupid, but it's got some charm.
Yeah, you wait for the 2-hour episode on the Terminus decree. Anyway, unique variants, title variants. The needs of a chapter dictate the duties of the chaplain, as we discussed with the more hands-on approach of the Blood Angels chaplains. The Dark Angels, for example, have 2 different sets of chaplains. They've got your standard chaplains that do all of the normal stuff, but they also have interrogator chaplains. So good. These are part of the inner circle, and they are tasked with the duty of seeking out the fallen and making them repent. As their name suggests, it's not really a do a few Hail Marys at the altar and show up next Sunday. Instead, it's a bit more Spanish Inquisition. So the interrogator chaplains are a very menacing lot, and to quote-unquote successful repentances result in a black pearl being added to their rosarius as a commemoration for this achievement. For the furries out there, we're going to talk about wolf priests. I didn't say that. Possum said it. Blame Possum. As said in the apothecary episode, the wolf priests are a combo of chaplain and apothecary. On the chaplain side of things, they are pretty much the same as their non-furry counterparts, except for the very visually obvious and badass aesthetic they have with the wolf skull and fur cape. They, to be fair, look the best. They just do. Wolf skull, better than human skull in this specific instance. Day-to-day life, probably not so good. In place of a rosarius, they carry an item known as a wolf amulet, terrible name, which functions as the same thing. It's probably just disguised as one of those 3 wolf moon shirts instead of an Aquila. We talked about the Iron Fathers before, but they should be brought up again because why not? So, in short, the Iron Fathers, or the Iron Hands unique variant, is known as the Iron Fathers, and they're a combination of Chaplain and Tech Marine, and they are a relic from the Dark Age mystics on Medusa that were rolled into the Legion once Ferrus Manus showed up. So the Iron Fathers form the Iron Council of the chapter. They don't just oversee the members of the chapter, but they also oversee the armory as well. Now, as we said earlier, the Rosarius provided to the chaplains tends to be done so by the Ecclesiarchy. Considering how deep in the reeds the Iron Fathers are with the Machine God, The Ecclesiarchy keeps saying, oh, I'm sorry, the Rosarius must have got lost in the mail or something. We'll send one out some other time. And that has left the Iron Fathers high and dry without them. But we're talking Iron Hands here. They are resourceful. So the Iron Fathers make it a part of their duty to manufacture their own versions of this device as a rite of passage. So in the more sort of holy legions, there are some more interesting variants too. The Black Templars have the Execrators, far more reserved, relaxed. They tend to just cheer everyone on from the sidelines. None of that's true. In fact, the headline of the Warhammer community article that introduced them is, "The Execrator will make sure you keep your vow to kill absurd amounts of heretics." Chaplains are there to make sure you stick to your guns. The Black Templars don't need that. So, instead, they have something a bit more extreme. DK, do you want to read this out for me?
I shall. It is the divine duty of the execrators to ensure the Black Templars' holy vows are fulfilled in battle, inspiring comrades with their own feats of martial prowess. They are often the first through the breach and the last to fall, terrifying enemies with the sheer brutality of their assaults and spurring allies to join them in the melee. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. Oh, the minis? Shockingly plain, actually.
Yeah, but I think it's all right. I think it works well.
This is a moment of I'd say less is more. I think that's a perfectly fine miniature, and for some reason, his Judge Holden head isn't as bad as the Judiciary's one.
Yeah, it's perfectly normal and fine.
I don't even mind the wings, honestly.
Huh.
I will say that the wings on that Crozius, that's what I'm talking about, with like weirdly, like the angle is weird, but the alternate build where there's a big skull and the wings are they're much higher on either side, that looks great. That's like that's the platonic ideal of a Crozius Arcanum for me, where it looks like a religious symbol, but it also looks like you could whack someone in the face with it and it wouldn't make it hard to swing. So that's the perfect one for me.
Yeah, the other one looks like just every piece of art I've ever seen of the Crozius ever. It's just like that's the standard, like, yep, if you're gonna see a chaplain, they're gonna be wielding that one with that design with the skull and the gold and the wings. Like that is like in my brain for like, oh yeah, it's the chaplain weapon. I'm like, yep, that one.
I feel like with the ones with the angled wings, if it was a full staff, it would look more like a librarian staff, but it would look more like a symbol of office, whereas the ones where it's much flatter looks like a weapon that also happens to be a symbol of office.
Mm-hmm.
The helmet is great, though. It's so much better than the Judicia, where you've got that kind of... It looks like it just looks like a bald man covering his face because he's got COVID. That's what it looks like.
He almost looks more like a bandit than a chaplain. With that head on.
Yeah, this feels proper chaplain. That helm, full on skull, looks way better. So we also have the Grey Knight chaplains, and they are more or less the most powerful members of the chapter outside of the Grandmaster. So due to the nature of their work, demon-wise, Grey Knight chaplains are exceptionally on top of things when it comes to making sure there is absolutely no inkling of warp taint in any way, shape, or form. To be a Grey Knight chaplain is to be effectively impossibly pure in mind and spirit. There's a couple of non-OG chapters that have some neat little variants too. The Emperor's Spears, who are a successor chapter of the Ultramarines, have combined the roles of librarians, tech marines, apothecaries, and chaplains under the blanket term of druid. So, I mean, for 5e fans out there, that does not mean they can turn into a black dragon indefinitely. It's way more different than that. The druids of the Emperor's Spears are separated into one of 3 separate orders that are related to their skills. They are all trained in some basic mutual skills, like being able to harvest gene seed. This occurred potentially in part due to their isolation from the Sol system. So because of this separation, they've had to improvise, and a lot of these skills are developed in-house and without the help of Terra or Mars. Emperor's Scythes, Emperor's Shadows, Emperor's Shields, Emperor's... There's a lot of Emperors when it comes to Space
No,
Marine
Kiriath.
chapters.
There's only one emperor.
Oh, sorry, no.
Just the one.
Yeah.
Heresy
Shit.
detected.
Someone's knocking on my door.
Send for the chaplain.
To be fair, the
Also-
Emperor's Scythes have a great colour scheme. Top
They do.
10.
If any of
Also-
them existed.
We're going to skip a bit. We're going to go straight into Dark Apostles, okay? We'll cut a massive chunk out. So, before we end, we've got to talk about Dark Apostles. We can't close out an episode on Chaplains without talking about what happened to the rest of Lorgar's Chaplains now that they've gone full-blown traitor, as they have a neat title that would also fit perfectly in Trench Crusade. So the Dark Apostles kept the zealous tone they had been preaching about the Holy Emperor, but they just switched the book out, and now they just praise the Lords of Chaos. Their religious fervour, their charisma, it's strong, it's passionate, and they are capable of causing guardsmen and even space marines to defect to chaos just by preaching alone. Their presence on the battlefield is an immediate red flag and a call for extermination. It's like playing AoE 2, and you see one of those priests that goes, "Walala," and immediately turns your unit to the other side. You have to get rid of it straight away.
Man, what a reference, but I know what you're talking about.
AoE 2? Age of Empire?
Yeah.
Oh, I never played it.
Yeah. Oh my god, right. But
It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine.
Yeah, we're moving. We're
fine.
schmoving. Yeah, we're good.
I'm
We're
going to
good.
be on that for a bit.
Oh my god. The Dark Apostle, Jesus. They carry with them a tainted and corrupted Crozius that's referred to as an accursed Crozius, which serves as a direct link between the Apostle and the Warp itself, and the most well-known of these is the Cursed Crozius. Not the same as an accursed Crozius, the Cursed Crozius, and it's wielded by... It's important to make the distinction. It's wielded by one of Lorgar's original chaplains that was sent out after the ruling on Nikaea to serve as a chaplain for another legion. In a rage, during his tenure, the chaplain who had this Crozius beat a White Scars librarian to death with it. And to this day, the cursed Crozius is said to emanate an aura around it that instills those nearby with the knowledge on how to slay a loyalist space marine. Because of course it does.
That's so dope, though.
Pretty cool. It's pretty good.
Oh man, I love that. The Cursed Crozius.
Also, once again, Lorgar stays winning.
Naturally.
Well, at least his underlings do.
Also, in the tabletop, the Dark Apostle has some little underlings, and you can like send them into people, and they blow up.
Yeah.
And it's pretty great.
It's great. It's good. That's Chaplains. All the Chaplains. Well, most of them.
Damn, chaplains are really cool.
They
Also,
are.
Whoa, are those Dark Apostle
Yeah,
minis?
that's
Or
Yeah.
oh man, those are so rock star.
And
Chaos
the
stays winning
the
every
man-
time.
The man's book is bleeding lava,
And it's on
Yes.
fire.
and it's
Yes.
on fire.
And it's on
Yes.
fire.
And
Somehow,
he's got the Crozius that you like, Bricky, where it doesn't have too much stuff on it. It's just a
Maybe-
whacking stick.
he's got the pimp cane.
Maybe that's why I like it, because the Chaos one's got the pimp cane.
Hey,
I mean,
makes
it's-
sense to me.
Also, all the fire in the world on the Dark Apostle. The guy who's carrying the book with a speaker for a face, he can only keep 2 candles lit. What an idiot.
Yeah, his faith is not strong enough.
That's true. All the fire on the Dark Apostle, and this dumbass with the candles only got 2 of them lit.
What a loser.
Fair and valid. Oh man. Hell yeah.
Well,
Let's go, chaplains. Love it.
Chaplains. Hell yeah. I think But to end this episode out, we should have for every hip hip hooray, Leandros gets punched in the face. All right, everyone ready?
Yep.
Hip hip
Hooray!
hip hip
Hooray!
hip hip
Hooray!
hooray.